Shalom, shalom. As promised, I am going to be doing another bread video. And this time, since you guys really were interested in it, I'm going to give you the ingredients and the instructions. Now, the ingredients list will be down below the video, so that you can access those there, along with instructions for baking the bread. Now, I am using a toaster oven because I have a very small kitchen and a very small house. So, if you have a larger kitchen and you have a regular oven, then by all means you can still make this bread. And you can make it in the amount that I specified for a mini loaf, or you can make it a max loaf, or maybe you can make 2 or 3 loaves. Depends on how big your family is, how much bread you need. But anyway, I I would not make up more bread than you can eat. And I'm talking about in a short amount of time, maybe one meal or possibly 2 meals. But even the second meal, a lot of the nutrition will be gone from the bread just a few hours after you make it. So the idea is to bake the bread and then eat it. And it's delicious. This bread is delicious, even if you just eat it by itself with a glass of water or a glass of milk or whatever that you want to drink with it, orange juice. But I use a lot of garlic, about a teaspoonful of minced garlic, dried minced garlic, and a teaspoon of dried minced onions, and about a half a stick of butter. So my bread is already buttered and got its garlic and onions on it already before you even start. So that really is ideal for me because you don't need to put anything on it. Or if you like, uh, slap on a little bit of turkey or whatnot on your bread with some mayonnaise or whatever you like it with, and some cheese, and hey, you got a very good and healthy meal that is going to give you energy. That's one of the things that I have noticed after I have been making this bread and eating this bread. I've noticed a big a, amount of energy that I didn't have before. And of course, you guys know I work a lot, so I'm always tired after I get home, but I have more energy now than I've ever had. Well, not that I've ever had, but that I can remember having in recent years past. So, and I think that it is actually this bread that's doing it. Plus, it's delicious. I wasn't really a bread eater before I started baking my own, but after baking my own and smelling this bread and tasting, this bread has an incredible taste and flavor to it. So, of course, it's not just the ingredients I'm putting in, it's the fresh milled wheat. It has an appeal that other breads just don't have. And you will find out about that appeal as you get into grinding and making your own bread. Okay, let's get right to it. Okay, I have all my ingredients and everything here handy, set up where it's convenient for me. Of course, I'm going to move all of this stuff where it's actually more convenient for me when I get through showing you what we're going to use. First of all, we have our wheat berries, and then we have Fleischmann's active dry yeast. These need to be refrigerated after opening because they won't survive if you don't keep them refrigerated. We have 1/2 a pat of butter, and I know that that may not be the healthiest thing, but I like butter flavored bread. We have 1 1/2 ounces of water. We're going to be we're going to be grinding 1 cup of wheat flour, and we will save off 1/4 cup of the wheat flour for dressing the bread after it's already prepared. it takes quite a bit that goes on the outside to make the outside drier than the inside, so that you can work with the bread. Okay, we have a spatula, which is got a rounded corner. So this is for using to do the kneading and the mixing in your bowl. We have, of course, a bowl. I have this kind of a basting brush. It's because the basting brush like this is so much easier to clean, and it doesn't got little fine hairs all in it. I don't like the fine hairs, because once in a while you'll leave one of those behind. And what is more embarrassing than somebody saying, "Hey, there's a hair in this." And we have a 1/4 cup measuring cup here. So let's get started. Oh, and of course I have a loaf tin. This is the mini loaves, and the way I've done this, because I'm cooking in a toaster oven, the way I have done this is I have taken 2 tins and I put a piece of aluminum down in the bottom. You can see that this is just a very thin piece of aluminum. But I've worked this out so that it actually has enough separation that the bottom of the bread does not burn. That will be the problem. Don't ask me how I know that the bread will burn if you just put a regular tin or aluminum tin on top of your steel pan in a small oven, toaster oven. Of course, I have things that I'm going to use. Parsley, I like parsley in my bread. Minced onion, I like minced onion in my bread. And this is, I'm going to actually grind this in the grinder, so it won't be minced onion, it's going to be ground onion powder. And minced garlic, I like garlic in my bread, and this will also be ground. And then of course we have sesame seeds, and these sesame seeds are just for looks mostly, but there's some taste too. If you get a hold of a good sesame seed, you all know that. Okay, let's get started. Okay, here we have my grinder, and one important thing, do not plug the grinder up until you are ready to grind or mill your wheat. Okay, this is a simple grinder, very easy, very simple parts, so it's not anything complicated. I'll just get my wheat. I'm going to be using, this is a 1/4 cup mixing. Can't think of the name of this. This is a 1/4 cup. We want 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm actually using 3 cups worth of this flour, of these wheat berries, to make the loaf. But I want more flour just to work with after we get the dough made, because of course you got to dress it and make it where it will fit in the pan properly. Okay, now we'll go ahead and put this together. Okay. Make sure it's tight. It is. Okay, now I can plug this up. What I go by on this most of all is the sound. When I turn this on, you'll hear it grinding. It's straining grind at the beginning, and then it gets easier and easier. I'm looking for a complete single tone, high-pitched whining from this, so that lets me know that the wheat is ground properly. Okay, unplug the grinder. You never want the grinder plugged in and the top to be off. Just for safety reasons, okay? Alright, now let's see if indeed our wheat is properly ground. Oh, yeah. And it is. Okay. I'm sure you know that I'm going to be getting this out of this container, out of this grinder, and you're probably not interested in that, so I'm going to just pause this and get my wheat, my flour into the bowl. Okay, now we have our flour already milled, and what I want to do, because in finishing the bread I'm going to need some dry flour, so what I'll do is I'll take just a couple, maybe not even a couple, one overflowing is good enough. That gives me some flour for finishing, okay? So I'll put this aside, actually that here out of the way, and we will get started. The next thing that we have to do is we have to get our yeast growing. And what we want to do is, this is 1 1/2 ounces of water, and I want to heat the water so that it will be a temperature of at least 120 degrees. Well, not more than 120 degrees. With my microwave, it's a 700 watt microwave, and yours may be different, so you have to adjust your times. But with my microwave, I can put it timed for 15 seconds, and that will give me the desired temperature. Yes, I've done this before. Okay. Now we will make certain that our water is not over 120 degrees. Some people just stick their finger in it, but you know, that's okay as well. But let's try a method that is closer to exact. Okay, we're over 100. I guess you can see this. Well, already it. Okay, I don't know why my phone just suddenly decided to quit recording, but it did. Turned off on its own. Okay, since we've got this at 120 degrees, let me go ahead and add our sugar. You want about 1 teaspoon of sugar, and I know I don't like sugar either, but this is for the yeast. If you don't put the sugar, the yeast will not grow. Okay. And this is Fleischmann's Active Dry Yeast. That's what I use. And it's because it seems to be the fastest and works the best for me. Grab the spoon. There's perhaps maybe about 1/3 of a teaspoon. What I like to do is cover the top. Okay, that's good. Cover the top. And I've tried this both ways. You give it a stir or don't give it a stir, but I think I like the results best if I give the yeast a stir. Even though that makes yeast come up on the sides. And we want to be sure before we start using this that this yeast is alive and good, because if something happens, your yeast is dead, then your bread is dead too. You know what I mean? So we are going to give this yeast about between 5 and 10 minutes, and I will come right back. Okay, while our yeast is still working, and it's doing well, it's only been about 5 minutes, but I went ahead and beat one egg, and I want to put the egg in first because the egg, it does stuff with the gluten, makes it better, and I want to save just a little bit of the egg for basting later. So I will put this up here for the moment, and I'll go ahead. I've noticed if you put water first in your flour that the egg will not mix as well, and so I've decided to go ahead and mix the egg with the flour first and get that ground in so that it will mix easier with the water, the egg, and the flour. That's just about all there is to it. There we go. Okay, now we can see our yeast is puffing up. Let's see if you can see that good. It is foam, that much foam on top of the yeast. So our yeast are definitely alive and well. So I'm going to pour all of this on here because it's that's the measurement that I've made, and I've done this before, so I know what measurement I'm doing. You can always, there's a gnat. I don't like gnats. Okay, but you can always add more flour, or you can always add more water if your mixture is not exactly like you want it. And we'll make that the consistency that we want it for baking our loaf of bread. Okay. Let's go ahead and start mixing this. A lot of people like to turn over their spatula and use this end for mixing, but I don't because it's a mess either way. We're probably going to have to add some more water. Not probably, we're going to have to add some more water. But before I add any more water, I want to add my butter. And I will just heat the Well, seem to have trouble with my phone going off. I'll just show you what I have been doing. I've mixed in the butter. The butter makes it turn loose and not stick as bad to anything. That has been covering it and kneading it onto itself. And this is the way, you can do this in a bowl without having to use a table. So I guess when I go back and edit this, I'll take out the part that is redundant, if there's any that is redundant. Okay, now this is good enough. We're going to let it rest for 1 hour, and we'll come back and see how much it has risen, and I'm sure it's going to be about double. Okay. Okay. Just cover this with a towel. That keeps the dough from drying out and keeps it moist. So we'll look at this again in 1 hour's time. Okay, it's been an hour now, and wow, it's doubled in size, all right. So what we want to do is go ahead and punch it down. what they mean by punching it down is just actually making it release some of the gases. We want to do this right quick. Okay, that's looking pretty good. What we'll do is let it rest for another hour. Okay, let's check our dough and see. Wow, it's risen considerably. So it looks like we're about ready to bake some bread. All right. Okay. Okay. Make this a little bit less sticky. So just a little bit more flour, just to cover the outside. That should be enough, maybe more than enough. All right. Now what I want to do is, oh, okay, that time. Magic. Okay. Now what I want to do is figure out how I'm going to get this in the pan. Where it will be centered. I think this ought to do it like that. Okay. Sorry for a while. And we want to get this in the pan. Let's close. Whoa, wait. I'm forgetting one important step. One very important step. This is just olive oil, spray olive oil. So that's what I like to use. This stuff will get all over everything. So instead of trying to spray the edges where it's going to spray out over the top, I'll just go down in with the brush that I'm fixing to use for doing the egg. And I'll make sure that I get olive oil all the way across the sides. Because if I don't, whoops, it's the camera. If I don't, this is going to stick. And I don't want anything to stick. Okay, that looks pretty good. What do you think? Yeah. Okay, I'll lay this up here with the egg because we're fixing to use that too. Alright. Do that and something. Okay. So, here we go. I'm getting a little tired because this has gone on for a long time already. And I had a long work day today. But I'm not complaining. I enjoy doing this. I used to enjoy playing basketball. And I can't do that anymore. I'm glad that I can bake bread. What I'm doing is just getting a good coat of this on here. I don't want it too thick. I don't want it to be eggy on top. But I do want what the egg does to the bread, which causes it to brown so beautifully on top. Okay, and that works. Actually, this needs to go over here where I can throw it away. And this needs to go there. Okay. And we're through with this. We're through with this. I'm just throwing these things. Can you see that? Because I don't have to go back and forth across around the camera and the tripod, and that's that makes it hard. This is a cute little jar for flour, but it's not by any means easy to open. I thought it would be. I was wrong. Oh, my goodness. I have to preheat the oven. See, I want to put this on 20 minutes to bake, and it ought to take about 5 minutes to preheat. I'll turn my oven to toaster so that both of the top and the bottom heater element will be heating. So I will pause this, and when this is preheated, we'll stick this in. I've never tried sticking it in first and then finding out if preheating was good or not. But just to keep in case there are any little gnats or something, I will put this over this, let this preheat, and then I'll be right back with you. Then the next thing, guess what? Magic! Bread! Okay, it should be preheated now, and I've turned it back to bake. I put it on broil for it to. I put it on toaster. Okay, I want to get it right in the center. Okay. And now I'll make sure that it's still got 20 minutes, and it does. Has 20 minutes more before it's done. So we will just wait and allow this to do its magic. Okay, the toaster oven has dinged. Magic. Time has passed. Let me get something to handle this with. Okay. Oh, it's hot, hot, hot. Okay. We got it. Better spread this out. Okay. Close the toaster oven. And take a look at the bread. I better get another one of these to handle this because it's very hot. Brother Ken, why are you wearing bandages on your hand? Well, you see, I was making bread. Now you know the rest of the story. That is beautiful. The question is, if it's beautiful, is it also delicious? So, what we have to do is we have to let this bread sit for a few minutes and cool down. Rest, that's what they call it. They call it rest. We'll let this bread rest for just a few minutes, and then we will remove it from the foil that it is in, the tin it is in, and we will check it by slicing it. I'm looking forward to that part because when I slice it, I know I'm not far from eating. And you know, I get off at 5 o'clock every day. When I got off today, I came here to my house and started doing this video and making this bread, and I haven't eaten yet. I didn't want to eat until this bread was done. So I am prolonging the inevitable. That's the breakfast. Breaking the fast of not eating until this bread is done. And it has been enjoyable. I've had surprises that I didn't know would happen. The bread rose more than I expected it to. You can never underestimate what Yahweh can do through you when you're doing what He says. So this bread is a testimony, and I'll let it rest for a few minutes, and then we'll be right back to cut and taste test. Okay? Okay, let's see if this bread will come out of its shell. Let's get these out of the way. I think it's going to be cool enough already for me to handle. So, let's bring down this to put the bread on and see if it will come out. Oh, yeah, it comes out quite easily. That's good. Oh, and wow, it is a beautiful small loaf of bread. So what we need to do now is test it to see if the taste is good or not. So I want to get a sharp knife, if I can find a sharp knife. There we go. I couldn't find my sharp knife, so that's good. Mishpachah, the moment of truth. Would you look at that? It's beautiful. It really is. It's beautiful. And it smells so good. And this outside piece is actually a pretty good looking piece. I don't usually like to eat the outside pieces of bread, but I don't think I'd mind eating the outside piece of this at all. It looks like it would be just absolutely delicious. And I have a meal to eat with this bread. It is already cooked. But you can see as I tear it apart how many soft places inside there are and all of the texture that there is. It rolls very well, and it just absolutely looks marvelous. Now, as far as taste testing goes, I'm going to go down here as best I can, and I'm not sure if you can see me or not, but I'm going to taste test this bread in a very awkward position. So, here we go. Oh, I don't want to taste test unless I pray. Thank you, Abba, for this food. I pray your miracle upon it, that it would nourish my body and give me energy and strength and good health. I pray, Abba, help me to wake up in the morning to go to work. Everything I pray through Yeshua HaMashiach. In the name above all names, Yahweh, our Elohim, Yahweh, God. Amen. I'm about to drool because this bread looks so good, it smells so good. Not good. Not at all. So don't come asking for any of it, okay? Okay, so I finished making this bread on Thursday night, and there was a lot to do in processing and a lot of handwork and footwork to do. So I've been working on it. I thought I would finish it by Saturday and post it on Saturday evening. But alas, it took me until today, Sunday, to finish the video. So I hope and pray that you enjoyed. The bread was wonderful, a huge success, and gave me lots of energy, and I had a great weekend. So we'll see you very soon. I hope and pray that you'll be able to fellowship with us on this coming Tuesday night at 7 o'clock on this channel with Ken. Shalom, shalom, Kavarim.
I sing to Yahweh, for he is highly exalted. The horse and its rider he has thrown into the sea. Yah is my strength and song, and he has become my deliverance. He is my El, and I praise him, Elohim of my father, and I exalt him. Yahweh is a man of battle, Yahweh is his name. He has cast Pharaoh's chariots and his army into the sea, and his chosen officers are drowned in the sea of reeds. The depths covered them, they went down to the bottom like a stone. Your right hand, O Yahuwah, has become great in power. Your right hand, O Yahuwah, has crushed the enemy. And in the greatness of your excellence, you pulled down those who rose up against you. You sent forth your wrath. It consumed them like stubble, and with the wind of your nostrils, the waters were heaped up. The floods stood like a wall, the depths became stiff in the heart of the sea. The enemy said, I pursue, I overtake, I divide the spoil, my being is satisfied on them. I draw out my sword, my hand destroys them. You blew with your wind, the sea covered them, they sank like lead in the mighty waters. Who is like you, O Yahweh, among the mighty ones? Who is like you, great in Kodeshah, awesome in praises, working wonders? You stretched out your right hand, the earth swallowed them. In your kindness, you led the people whom you have redeemed. In your strength, you guided them to your Kodesh dwelling. Peoples heard, they trembled, anguish gripped the inhabitants of Pelasheth. Then the chiefs of Edom were troubled, the mighty men of Moab. Trembling grips them, all the inhabitants of Canaan melted. Fear and dread fell on them by the greatness of your arm. They are as silent as a stone. Until your people pass over, O Yahuwah. Until the people whom you have bought pass over. You bring them in and plant them in the mountain of your inheritance, in the place, O Yahuwah, which you have made for your own dwelling, the Mikdash, O Yahuwah, which your hands have prepared. Yahweh reigns forever and ever.